star Madonna rushed to the hospital over what her manager called a serious bacterial infection, which led to a several-day stay in the ICU. The icon was found unconscious on Saturday. That's when she was rushed to intensive care and kept overnight. For more context on this, Dr. Mark Siegel is joining us now. Doctor, thank you so much for your time. Look, we don't know a whole lot. We just know that she had a bacterial infection and she was found totally unresponsive. What, if anything, can we glean from that? What kind of bacterial infection could we be talking about?
Bill, listen, 1.7 million people in the United States, according to CDC, get sepsis every year, where some kind of bacterial infection, usually bacterial, causes your blood pressure to go down, or you get out of it the way she was, and you go to the ICU, maybe you get on a ventilator. We don't know, that's not been confirmed. But the most common causes of this, and by the way, testament to United States medicine, and specifically New York City, where she is that only about 1 in 7 people in this life-threatening condition actually die. 6 out of 7 recover. And the most common causes would be respiratory or urinary, 25% urinary. My suspicion here, and again, I don't have the information on this, would be urinary would be more likely in her case because she responded so quickly. The bacteria that cause urosepsis tend to respond more quickly than if it were a pneumonia. But pneumonia, urinary infections, skin infections are most common. And women more likely than men would get the urinary problem. She doesn't have big underlying health problems that we know about. I mean, she has the falls, she has the knee problems, the cartilage problems. She had COVID, pretty bad case early in the pandemic. Other than that, you know, she's unbelievably vital for the age of 64.
Yeah, and to your point, the Cleveland Clinic helped kind of speculate on what kind of infection it could be. Call for number 1 here. Cleveland Clinic writing in part, quote, bacterial infections can affect many different parts of the body, including the skin, lungs, brain, and blood. Common bacterial diseases include UTIs, food poisoning, STIs, and some skin, sinus, and ear infections. Any bacterial infection that gets deep into your body, like in your blood, heart, lungs, or brain, can be life-threatening. And obviously that's the case. She was found totally unresponsive. So how do you treat this and treat it quickly?
So, by the way, to that point, it's inflammation that the bacteria causes, not the bacteria itself. Causes inflammation in the lungs, causes your blood pressure to go down, affects your heart directly. Those are the toxins, and you got to bring that blood pressure up. You use a respirator if you need it. Antibiotics, the quicker the better. Intravenous antibiotics, we got a whole smorgasbord that we use of antibiotics that cover gram-negatives, gram-positives. Until we know the bug, we treat across the board. We don't want to under-treat, so we tend to over-treat, and that has a big success rate. Once we figure out which bacteria it is, we narrow the coverage.
And last question here, 30 seconds. How quick do you think her recovery could potentially be here? You said she's responding fairly quickly.
It depends a lot on what the source is. If it's urinary, it can be a couple of weeks. Now, Celebration Tour was supposed to start, 80 shows, supposed to start July 15th. That's obviously not happening. But I could see her, given her vitality and how strong she is, back in the show tour, maybe in a matter of weeks or a month. Especially if it's urinary. That would be a more rapid recovery. I don't know the details. Expect to see her sooner rather than later.
And like you said, everyone's thankful for modern medicine these days. Dr. Mark Siegel, thank you so much for your insight.